Hi, once again we are on the STI daily chart. Last week on the Wednesday we saw a spring bar, which is spring on this level of support, which is the low of this bar here, and then we saw a immediate response to the upside. However, on the Friday we have a try to pop up into the gap here, and then we start to have some hesitation on the price here. So I was anticipating a test of the spring bar to come the following week, which is this week. Therefore, we saw on Monday, we saw a down bar here, and this down bar was coming with a very low volume, and as relative to the rest of the other volume is considered very low. And then what we are seeing is that there's a close near on the low. So I wasn't quite comfortable with this test here, because it's just telling us that although there is not much selling in this down bar here, however, demand wasn't really that strong in the sense of pushing the close back to the middle of the range of this bar here, and the buyers just let sellers close on the low. So it's not really that fantastic test, so to me. So basically what we want to see is that there's an immediate response to the upside on the following bar, and that's what we got on the Tuesday. We have dipped below, slightly below the low of this bar here, the test bar, and then we rallied back up all the way and close on the high and above the high of the test bar here. However, we are still not be able to take out the high, the close of this bar here, but nonetheless, this bar is a pretty strong bar of showing that the demand is probably coming into the market. And what we are seeing is that this is a increase in volume, and but we want to take note of something, is that this volume is actually not as high as the rest of the other up bar volumes that is in the background. So demand, although it's coming, but it somehow confirms that the demand is probably weak or not present in the market due to the test bar here of the close, where I was explaining that this close was just probably a show of there is probably a lack of demand that's in the market, as well as we have a lack of supply. So therefore we saw this up bar, and then I was thinking that if we are going to see a test of no supply here and then it is successful, we should be able to take out the high of this bar and probably seeing more upside to come. Then on the Wednesday we saw STI traded down. Sellers tried to step in and depress STI downwards. Then however, the buyers step in and push STI back up above the close of the previous bar, and this was done on a slightly increased volume and a sustaining volume. However, because of this spring, our expectation is that after a spring it should be taking out the highs, even for this high, taking out this high, and even coming close to this high here. So that was the normal expectation of a spring, but however we are not seeing that convincing move to the upside, and yet we just up for 2 bars. Progress is not as very impressive, and then we have a test, and now after the test we do not have any ease of movement to the upside, as we can see that the progress of the closes are not as impressive with a sustaining volume. And if you compare the volume of this test bar and the 2 up bars, this combination of these 3 bars here, when we look at the volume here and compared to the rest of the other volume in the background, this is somehow like a no demand kind of price action here, and it is a sign that there is weak demand, and following a spring, which might indicate that the spring might fail. And this was confirmed on the Thursday bar, where we saw this down bar here, and then we kept down, and STI traded all the way deep into the spring bar. So on this bar we have already confirmed that the spring has failed, and what we are probably thinking is that, I was thinking at this moment, is that we will either be breaking the 2700 level very soon, or we will probably be going sideways for probably another couple of few bars in the coming bars. But then on the Friday we saw a dip down below the 2700. In fact, we opened below the 2700, and then we trade all the way down to break the low of this bar here, which break the support. And buyers start to step in and try to close STI back above the support level here, and then close to the 2700 level, but not above. So what does that mean for the next week price action? Basically, for a failed spring, what we are expecting is that once a spring has failed, there's probably more downside to come. However, we are seeing on the Friday there's some demands coming in, and we are seeing an increase in volume. However, there's not enough strength to push STI up above the 2700 level. So in the next week, what I was expecting is that if STI is going to have a follow through to the upside, we might see STI goes back above the 22 level, and probably stay there. It will likely be turning around when it hits the supply line here. As you can see, the supply line here and the downtrend channel, this is a downtrend channel here. We drop from this high to this high, and the downtrend channel is respected on this bar here, and then it comes back down. And if we observe the lows, there is some shortening of the thrust here. Basically, it has not reached the demand line, so we know that demand is coming in early. However, I'm not convinced that STI is probably going to rally and taking out the highs, and then probably going to hit this level here. If it does, it has to probably do it in a more slower manner. If we see a rapid markup and hits the supply line, we might see it turns down, and then the rapid markup may just be an urgent kind of markup, and probably may not have any sustainable force or momentum to continue to move STI above the 2850, or even coming close to the 2900 level. So that is my take for STI next week. And please do trade carefully, because the market is still in a very volatile state, and STI is looking more likely to be in a more prolonged trading range, rather than probably have to move up immediately or move down immediately. If this potential spring bar is going to be broken, which means that if the next week's price action comes deep into the this spring bar here, we would probably observe more downside, which we might see that this trend channel may be playing out quite nicely, and we can expect more downside to come, probably going below the 2650 level, and coming to the demand line here. So if the approach to the demand line is with fast price action and high volume, then can expect this demand line to be broken, and then the more downside to come for STI. So that's my take for STI, and the concepts that I share here is more of the Wyckoff's concept of analyzing, which we have the concept of springs, upthrust, shorting of the thrust, and price channels here. They are all the part of the Wyckoff principle of reading charts. So I would hope that this series is much useful to you, and you have some idea of what Wyckoff is, and how to read a chart carefully and more correctly to form a more logical judgment in order to benefit your trading. So that's my sharing for this week. Thanks.